populist leaders use a variety of strategies. Based on the strategy used, populism can be divided into two types, namely irrational populism and rational populism. In irrational populism, populist leaders use charisma and ideology to hypnotize society or its followers. Irrational populist leaders do not have a base of political power that strong. Meanwhile, populist leaders in a rational variant of populism will depend on their achievements. Leadership skills get support from society. Rational populist leaders already have a foundation of political strength that's strong. His supporters are a critical and rational society. Therefore, populist leaders are also asked to act rationally. Leaders cannot just break a promise, but must realize his campaign promise in order to continue earning support from the community. Leaders of rational populists will try helping the lower class until they get needs of their life. Joko Widodo, who is also known as Jokowi, is the president of Indonesia, who is said to be a leader with the spirit of the people. Everything he thinks is based on the harmony and pleasure of his people. Jokowi affirmed that his political attitude is to lead Indonesia with its human, cultural and pluralistic wealth so as not to be overlooked in the content of the 1945 Constitution and the meaning of Pancasila. President Jokowi really looked up Indonesia's constitution, and it is proven when in an interview he clarified he does not even mind with protests as it is stated in the constitution.
Indonesia adalah negara demokrasi.
Indonesia is a democracy, so protests are normal. In a democracy, protests or demonstrations are guaranteed by the Constitution. People can express their opinions about laws, about policies. There is no problem.
Menyampaikan pendapat tidak apa-apa.
Another factor that considers Jokowi to be a populist government is the speech he delivered at the inauguration ceremony for the President and Vice President on October 20, 2014. Entitled Under the Will of the People and the Constitution, the title implies that he is a figure chosen by the people who will run the government in Indonesia. Jokowi's humble attitude and often takes knowledge of the situation of his country's people clearly shows that he really cares for his people. He is famous for the title of a leader who is close to the people and the poor. His supporters are increasing due to his ability to interact with people that seem sincere and not intended. Between the basis and strategy of Jokowi, who is considered a leader who is concerned with the welfare of the people, is the healthcare program. Jokowi introduced a universal healthcare program in Jakarta. Based on the Jakarta Health Card, this program involved an insurance program provided through insurance companies and is designed to manage health costs for the care of more than 20,000 services and procedures. The next strategy is educational programs. Jokowi launched the Smart Card Jakarta on 1st December 2012 to help poor students in Jakarta. These cards provide allowance that can be withdrawn from the ATM to buy school supplies. However, there is also controversy regarding this Indonesian president. Some have stated that his attitude has changed and he is no longer what he used to be. If we look at what has happened since he was elected president in the 2014 presidential election until now, the populist character of his leadership seems to have undergone quite a fundamental change. It is Undeniable that Jokowi is increasingly familiar with various types of elites. The accommodative strategy appears to be used frequently when dealing with elite members.
Thaksin Shinawatra was born on 26 July 1947 in the Chiang Mai, Thailand. He was born into ethnically Chinese middle classes family in the northern Thai city of Chiang Mai. He joined the Royal Police before leaving to start a computer business, which in turn morphed into a highly successful mobile phone corporation that made him a billionaire. He moved into the politics, forming the Populist Thai Party and won landslide election in 2001, harnessing overlooked rural voters and upsetting Bangkok's military elite who had been involved in a dozen coup attempts since World War II. He was presently dogged with accusation that he had acquired his wealth through corruption, nepotism, and graft, although Thaksin dismissed them all as lies told by disgruntled opponents. Basically, Thaksin made 6 policies during his reign, which is economic policy, healthcare policies, anti-drug policies, corruption, education policies, and energy policies. But the focus one is economic policies. Economic policies is Thaksin-nomics, or a panacea of Thaksins and economics, is a term used to refer to the economic sets of policy of Thaksin Shinawatra. The Prime Minister of Thailand from 2001 until 2006, there has been considerable controversy over the role Thaksinomics has played in Thailand's recovery from the 1997 Asian financial crisis. Among the most prominent advocates of Thaksin economic policies is Morgan Stanley economist Daniel Lian. Thaksin's economic policies helped Thailand recover from the 1997 Asian financial crisis and substantially reduced poverty. GDP grew from 4.9 trillion baht in 2001 to 7.1 trillion baht in 2006. Thailand repaid its debts to the International Monetary Fund 2 years ahead of schedule. Thaksin found guilty of corruption. Thailand Supreme Court found former Premier Thaksin Shinawatra guilty of corruption and sentenced him to 2 years in prison on Tuesday. The court already said Thaksin had abused his authority by allowing his wife to purchase a plot of land at a government auction when still in office. His wife, Gökmen, was cleared of the charge. At the time of the verdict, the couple were not present in court because they fled the nation in August, arguing that they would not get a fair trial and saying that the allegations against them were politically motivated. Not only that, Thaksin also avoided tax payment. The Revenue Department's failure to collect 12 billion baht in tax from former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra was shaken the public's confidence over the transparency, fairness, and equity of the country's tax collection system. The tax case started in 2006 when Shin Corp shares were sold to Singapore's Temasek Holdings by Thaksin's 2 adult daughters, Pan Tong Te and Pin Tong Ta. The siblings bought the shares from Apple Ridge Investment, an offshore holding company controlled by the Shinawatra family, at a price of 1 baht per share. They later sold the shares to Temasek for 49.25 baht each, reaping some 16 billion baht in benefit. However, the pair did not apply this revenue as part of the annual income for tax assessment. During that time, Thaksin was Prime Minister, and when the case came to light, the tax agency ruled in favor of Thaksin's children, maintaining that their capital gains were not taxable, so they were not deemed to have evaded taxation.